Okay, so in case that you haven't noticed, I do have a second channel called ChartX Crypto Extra, and in it, I'm talking about a lot of altcoins, including Polygon. And in today's update on the main channel, we are going to do a complete Elliott Waves analysis. And if you like to have some short-term analysis and see what might happen in the next couple of days and probably couple of weeks, you should probably subscribe to our second channel, because in there I am doing regular updates. So with all that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're having a great time with your family and loved ones. And I would like to argue that we absolutely should not count Polygon out in this market, because I believe this might be a bit of a hidden gem. Now, a lot of you are going to say probably that in Polygon recently we have been performing much worse than a lot of other alts. However, I would like to argue that is absolutely not true. Why is that? Okay, where's the highest high in Polygon? It's right in here about, let's say, $3. And let's measure our move down from here to about the lowest low. This is about a 94.5% move on the downside. Now, let's check out Algorand's chart. Where is it? I think it was this one on crypto.com. Yes, let's go on weekly chart. Okay, where is the highest high? Similar to Polygon, it's somewhere around $3. But the lowest low in Polygon was about 15 cents. However, in Algo, the lowest low is about 8.5 cents. So Algorand, and probably I would say a lot of other altcoins, have been performing much worse than Polygon. And if you want to argue Polygon is a dead project, I would argue that's absolutely not the case. However, there is a reason for why you are feeling that Polygon is dead. You see, in a lot of altcoins, we had a relatively strong move on the downside in the bear markets. However, in Polygon, what happened was this: we had a good move down, fair enough, but then after it, we got into a consolidation pattern, and it was only recently that we got our final flush down. And because in this phase a lot of other alts have been kind of going up, I guess fair enough, you can feel that maybe Polygon is being left out. But again, overall, when you measure the percentages, you realize that's absolutely not true. And I think Polygon is a great project, and it does have a very bright future ahead. Now, in terms of Elliott Waves, I am extremely optimistic in this chart. Why? Because I believe in this initial move up, we are having a 5 wave followed by a WXY, yes, probably in form of a double zigzag. And what do we have in here? Another very clear cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, and from this high to around the lowest low, I'm gonna argue we had ABC zigzag, which the sub base for it are going to look like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into a correction for wave B, maybe ABC, maybe WXY, possibly even a triangle, not important, and yet another 5 wave down into our ceiling. Now let's count some waves and see what is happening. Okay, so I believe from this high, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into our wave A. Let's put it in here, okay, followed by an ABC up into wave B, and from here there's a very high chance that we are having a 1, 2, 3 correction for 4, another move on the downside into wave 5, and in here, as you can see, we are clearly having overlapping of the waves between our wave 4 and 2. So that narrows our option, I would say, to pretty much one choice, and it's having an ending diagonal in form of a wedge. And I know right away you are going to say it seems like that our wave 3 is bigger than 5. Okay, let's measure it. There we go, from here to about this point, and compare it to our wave 5. Excuse me. Okay, as you can see, it is maybe like just a bit bigger. However, this is absolutely not the case. Why is that? How many times have we talked about not measuring waves on logarithmic scale? Let's put the chart on regular, and as you can see, it seems like that our wave 3 is absolutely smaller than wave 5. So I have checked the rules before. All of them, in my opinion, do apply to this thing being an ending diagonal in form of a wedge, and there is a good argument to be made for the lowest low down here, about 15 cents, to be our final bottom. Why? Okay, let's go around here. You see, if you want to argue we're gonna have our final low around here, maybe this is like an important support, then okay, off of the lowest low, you need to be able to find a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up. This specific example is an impulse. Rules for it are: we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, our wave 3 should not be the smallest wave. And in terms of the sub waves, You know the answer. 5 wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5. And for wave 2 and 4, we can have different counts. It's not really that important. Let's say, yeah, sure. WXY into wave 2 and an ABC structure into wave 4. Now let's go on the live chart and see what is happening. Maybe it's best to go on H4 time frame. Okay. You see, in my opinion, from here we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a wave 1, correction for wave 2, another clear, strong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up into wave 3. This is a correction for 4, and followed by that another move on the upside into wave 5. Now, at the moment in Polygon, we can consider different structures. For example, if you want to be really optimistic, you can say maybe this is an extension and we haven't completed a 5 wave up yet, and maybe we are having something like this. This can be another 1 and 2, but on a lower degree relative to this one. And then we're going to have, even from the current point, another massive move up into wave 3, 4, 5, which at that point, this yellow 5 wave up is going to be into this wave 5. But right now, at least, I think it's a bit too soon to jump into that kind of bullish conclusions. For now, I believe we should consider the end of our wave 5 to be right in here and question what happens after a 5 wave up. Whether we are bullish or bearish, no matter which scenario is happening, we are going to have a move on the downside. Now, the key is not really the move itself. What really matters is the shape of our move down. Why? Because if we are bullish, after a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we are going to have a move down, a slow and choppy move, and that, my friends, is a very important characteristic of a correction structure. So can we say right now in Polygon, based on the current move down, we are actually on the bullish track? Okay, let's measure our move down from this high to about here. How long is it taking for us to have this move? So far, about 110 candlesticks. Now, in about 110 candlesticks, we managed to have this move on the upside. So from my point of view, this suggests in this phase down in Polygon, most likely bears do not really have a whole lot of power. Why? Because if they were powerful and bulls weren't actually in charge in here, okay, they would have probably pulled the price all the way back down to these levels. But as you can see, we are not here yet. So I'm gonna say in Polygon, there's a very good chance that the low is already in, and any kind of move down, for now at least, in my opinion, should be considered as some sort of a correction, which means after it's over, we are going to have yet another move on the upside. Now, in terms of classic technical analysis, meaning support and resistances, as you can see, there is kind of an important broken level in here. And as you can see, right in here, we got a bounce back from it. But this time, unfortunately, we got a break of it. And I'm going to say this is now acting as a resistance area. And if you want to say maybe from here, we're going to go up in Polygon and the extension scenario is happening, you need to just wait a little bit more and see a move in order to go above here, followed by that a pullback, a consolidation pattern above the region, and then a continuation of the move up in order to take this side. If we do this from the current point, fair enough, the extension possibility is happening. But right now, I think we may go a bit lower, and then we are going to have a strong break of this level. And from here, we will probably never look back in Polygon, because odds are on a higher degree. If this is happening, this is a wave 1, correction for 2, and then huge move up into wave 3, 4, 5. And what is a very important characteristic of a wave 3? You know it, being quite a strong and sharp move on the upside. So let's have a quick conclusion and wrap up today's update. I believe if in the cycle we are going to have an alt season, Polygon will be one of the projects that is going to participate in it. And I think the future for Polygon is very, very bright. And right in here, even if we go a bit lower, buying makes perfect sense, at least from my point of view. Why is that? Okay, let me ask you this. Let's say you want to buy Polygon right around the 20 cents area. What is your stop loss? If you want to be extremely conservative, you can basically put your stop under this low, which means you are having about a 20 or maybe even 19 cents stop loss. On the other hand, if you want to hold your position for the mid to long term, what is your target? I think a very likely one in the cycle can be setting an all-time high and taking the highest high all the way up here about, let's say, $3.2. So essentially, you are having about a 19 cents stop But on the other hand, a $3 target, which means your risk to reward ratio is somewhere around 1 to 16. And I don't know about you guys, from my point of view, that is a fantastic risk to reward ratio. And if you do this consistently, at the end of the day, you are going to end up making quite a bit of money. That's why I think Polygon is for now a great buying opportunity. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Polygon's price chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.